different months of May and April for all the coaches, assistant coaches and coaches around the country right now as the calendar of when we work, how we work evolves. But we're extremely busy May, and I'm going to be home this weekend. It will be the first weekend home probably since in August, last August. So it's really been just a busy time, but very productive. I've learned a lot, and we are really excited about this roster we have for next year. I mean, really excited. So that's it. I'll grab any questions anybody has from anyone.
Can you talk first about the mutual decisions, DJ and Mo?
Yeah, it was my job. I think our job is give them as much information as possible. Give them the probabilities involved, and then embrace their decision. Sometimes we may look at what their reaction sometimes and have to maybe say again, all right, you do understand the probabilities here. And then once we're sure that they understand all the implications of a decision either way, right, then you just got to step back and embrace it, because it's not going to work if you're forcing people either way, either out or in. So we did that and really satisfied the way it all came out.
John, how does this compare? I mean, you've had a few guys leave early, during the past handful of years. How did this kind of compare when you were talking to them, as far as you mentioned the probabilities and staying or going? Was it DJ and Mo?
No, that's a great question. It's very, very different because of the testing the waters aspect now. That I think when the guys, if we start all the way back to Manny Harris, but Darius Morris, all those guys, we were just dealing with speculation, evaluation, reports. They weren't actually going to work out and meet with pro teams. So what this was involved, because the agents are out of it, we are the contact team for every NBA team. We talk with all 38 NBA teams probably at one time or another. Between Saudi Washington and I both did. So it was very different. It was like, I think the pro teams are used to working with guys declare. There's agents to work with, and everybody's doing their thing. We're used to, all right, they're either in or out, and then you go on and you recruit your next team. This is a different deal. This is a month of us being the conduit to information. So it was very different.
If I could flip that, how does that affect you? Because in the past, you knew, okay, they declared. Now you have that month waiting period.
For some reason, it didn't really concern me a great deal. I just figured, knowing that every year that we've had a scholarship left over, virtually almost every year we've had a scholarship left over, and then it's like there'll be guys out there if they both go or one goes, or this year we had 11 guys on scholarship, or 12 guys on scholarships, and one of them, right, was ineligible. Now, we were injury-free, which was really important, but it was, what are you going to do? I'm not going to take their scholarship away, so you can't even fret about it. And we couldn't, there were some candidates out there that we would say, this is a possibility, right? But you got to be patient. We're not giving their scholarships away.
I think Mo said that you kind of had like a list of reasons to stay to present to him and talk about. Did you have the same for DJ?
Yeah, we gave him the exact same thing. There was data that you could. There was different data that's different. It was not a list of reasons to stay. It was the information that we had gathered. It was the probabilities, the feedback, and we gave that to him. So Mo probably interpreted that as a list of reasons to stay, a probability, and DJ saw that differently. So it is exactly what it is there.
And when and how did you learn from DJ that this was going to be his? How'd that play out?
We've been talking the whole time. We talked at the combine. We talked again, and then Saudi and I flew out there on Monday. Flew out and back in the same day just to sit down with him and his mom and make sure that eye to eye everybody understood everything. And then he made his decision Tuesday and Wednesday, he made the final decision.
So they called and told you?
Yeah.
That was his
Yeah.
final
Yeah.
decision? Okay.
You saw Mo take a jump first year to this year. Where will he gain the most in this coming year, you think?
All I know is going into it, he has the right attitude. That when a guy has, Karras was in that situation, Glenn and Mitch were in this situation. I think Tim, Trey were all in this situation where they probably could have gone out, but they decided to remain in Michigan. I sense that same, probably even more enthusiasm for coming back from Mo right now. He wants to be more of a leader. He really values his experience here. He values the degree from Michigan. And he's coming from a different mindset. He could have gone pro right away. A lot of his peers that he plays with in Germany, they don't go to the United States to play. So he's got a real vision there. He's young, and he's been here 2 years. He just loves it here. And DJ did as well. DJ just felt that they're coming from two different situations, and DJ felt this was a good time to go.
What kind of feedback did Mo get from teams and what
Yeah, I
kind of
can't,
feedback?
it's all confidential. They won't, I'm not supposed to divulge any of those things, but, some of the draft, are you talking about what he has to do?
Yeah.
I would talk about that both of them need to get stronger. Both of them need to continue to have consistencies to their game. That was the biggest thing, get stronger, just skill level, skill development, the whole things that we do. And, I think that the NBA teams are in a bind, because I think they probably, all the gentlemen wish almost every player would just stay in longer, in college longer, so they can get a better read on who they are. But they're forced to make some really crazy decisions on 18, 20-year-old kids that there isn't enough information to make really informed decisions. Their jobs are on the line too. So, that's the general consensus of most general managers and the directors of scouting, et cetera, that all these kids should stay longer. But the fact is they're not, so they adapt.
What's your assessment of the forward position without, they're the hole that DJ
Yeah,
leaves
I
behind?
mean, we recruited Isaiah Livers for this, but Duncan is, I saw Duncan the next day excited for him. That this is a great opportunity for him, and knowing DJ's emergence, playing the four was, Duncan would back up there probably next year, but DJ was here, but play some 2 or 3. We needed him to do what he did this year, but probably more, because Zach would be gone. But now, I'm really comfortable with that. Where we lose in some areas, we could gain in some areas. So, and I think Duncan understands right now that he just can't stand in the corner and get open because they aren't gonna leave him open. How do you get open? He needs to watch Kyle Korver over and over and over again. Yeah, he stands in the corner, but at other times, he's running 100 miles an hour around the court to get open. So he understands that, and he's driven right now. Duncan is so driven right now, and this just added to it, I think.
Playing 2 bigs as you had was an unusual thing, that at least since you've been in Michigan, because he was so tall. Now, does this look more like one of your other teams?
I think it depends on the situation, but Mo has, remember, I think he was playing there for a little bit his freshman year. The issue will always be, well, how is the other team? You are who you can guard, and can either one of those bigs, any of those 3 bigs guard on the perimeter? And I do not think at this time the 2 freshmen or rising sophomores can do that. Mo has a chance there, but that's still a new thing. But DJ was just learning to really do it at the end of last year. It is difficult for a big kid to chase, and more people play small than they play big. So you could dominate them with 2s, but they could kill you with 3s. So it's a difficult choice.
It's a little bittersweet knowing, with DJ and Mo, you had arguably one of the best teams in the country. It's a little bittersweet, and I know that you were talking about Mo and DJ saying that they weren't anywhere near as good as they could get. Is it fair to think that maybe you were wondering what DJ could do next year here?
We've been wondering that for a long time. We had a pretty good team a few years ago that the same thing happened to. And I would say it's not, our numbers are extraordinary compared to other teams. For a team that does not recruit, we're not depending all our success on one and done. Our success is depending on, can we get good players that will develop on, going on the upside, can really play. But given that our numbers right now are extraordinary for this, DJ goes in the first round, which we hope that happens. That's a big number if you give him the history of Michigan, and then, but just the league. Wisconsin's had one guy go pro early, and this entire, since I've been here. Michigan State's had two. I've lost count.
What does that say? I mean, and along those lines, I mean, what does that say? You guys, you're not relying on the one and done, the big time 5-star guy all the time, but you are putting guys in the NBA.
Well, yeah, and what I really like right now is like Stauskas and Levert, Tim Hardaway in particular are really excelling right now. I mean, they're playing they're playing well. And I wouldn't give up on the guys either that are, Glenn and Trey. I wouldn't give up on them. They're young. They're still young. They're going to continue to make progress. So it's not just getting them drafted. It's can they go and can they have success there? And it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have. But I've always thought this, that you could do this if you had the right kids, the right attitude, and so.
You say you've lost count. Have you gotten any more comfortable with it?
I think it's when you're calculating your recruiting and you say, hey, we got Mo and we got DJ. They averaged 3 points last year. I'm not thinking 1 year. I'm thinking they're both. DJ's a 5-year player, right? And Mo's definitely here for 4. And now there was a real possibility we could have lost both of them. And so I don't expect anything to be for sure. You just keep going. It's like we went with the injury bug, right? You didn't have guys getting injured, and all of a sudden we got a bunch injured. Now you didn't have guys going pro. Now you have a bunch of guys with this opportunity. So I just coach the same way, fretful that things could happen, but confident that it always works out.
Yeah, in roster planning, you have a board with next year and the year after that and the year after that, and every coach.
Coming in with the janitors at night. Because somebody's on that, but go ahead.
4 years out,
Yeah.
of what it will look like. I mean, is that even a thing
I actually
anymore?
have it on my legal pad. Yeah, and it's on the back page of that hardcover part in the back, and then I just keep crossing people out.
I was gonna say, you might
And
want something a little
go
less
get a new
permanent.
legal pad. Because it's on the cardboard part, and the depth chart, it just keeps changing, and the only kind of, I thought when Darius Morris went pro a few years ago, and we had this young freshman coming in, Dre Burke, what are we gonna do? We're gonna have a freshman point guard, and we won the championship. And then when Tim and Trey went pro, we said, man, that's a big loss, and all of a sudden we won the championship. And now this year we're back winning the championship I thought we had residual effects still from not being able to recruit those positions, and then they were gone in the last couple of years. But we were coming out of it, that cycle. So I think we're still coming out of that cycle in a very positive direction.
Sorry.
Yes.
When you are, when you have those guys who are NBA talent, those guys are playing league someday. In the development of those players, what do you foster, or do you want to foster most of those players to prepare them for the professional level?
With the guys that we see that have the
Yeah,
the
that
guys
have
that,
potential.
the guys
Even a
that
surprise
we've
guy.
had. I'm not coaching them any different than I've coached the guys at Lemoyne. I mean, as far as just, it's so much about skill development, fundamentals, making the right plays, just seeing the game offensively and defensively, trying to just increase their skill level. Sometimes a guy's rating may be all going in, these guys, high school may be all about what high school they played at, what type of visibility they got, who their coach was, who their AAU team was. It doesn't have anything to do with talent compared to somebody else if you follow this stuff. So we're doing the same thing. We're not saying, oh, we gotta coach him differently, he's got NBA potential. It's the same thing.
John, what kind of role do you envision Jerron Simmons playing next year?
We're excited about that. Yeah, he is really, I'm very excited about his personality and his desire to lead. It was very hard for him to leave Ohio University. He has got great coaches down there. And with a lot of the mid-majors that having this happen to him, and I don't like it at all, but if, the fact is, if Duran doesn't come here, he ends up probably somewhere else in the Big Ten. So, he's just fundamentally so sound, but and like I said, he'll be here this summer. But just as a person, I just wanted to coach the kid after spending an hour with him, of just the leadership, the desire to win. I can't even tell you who he reminds me of. He just is, I have a sense he's gonna be, I have a really special addition to this team, not just because of talent level, just because of his desire. He's not played in the NCAA tournament. He would love to be an NBA player, and he sees that there's a plan here for him to do both. And he's excited, we're excited.
Chances that we see a roster addition before fall?
Yeah, anything could happen, couldn't it? Anything can happen. So we have one. One of my bigger concerns right now is finding walk-ons to be on the scout team. I mean, we've lost two great guys in Sean and Andrew Dockich. Brent Hibbins is testing his waters to see if he wants to play. So coming back to Michigan is an option, but he also could go somewhere else. That is an important part of our team, is that scout team. And we lost two they would compare to Esso Akune and Josh Bartelstein is for what they added to this team, and those guys gave us a lot.
You put a lot on point guard's shoulders. How are you, or what makes you confident that Duran can be adjusted and ready to go?
Well, it's not just hinged on him. I mean, we have, Xavier has improved a lot this year, and we're extremely high on Eli Brooks. So, but Duran has 4 years of experience, between Houston and playing at Ohio, that he's been well coached at both spots. So he's obviously getting used to his new teammates, a different system. But I know one thing, he's extraordinary in the ball screen, and we like to do it too. And he wants to win. We like guys that prioritize winning over their own stats.
John, you guys, especially in the Big Ten tournament run late in the season, you guys had the it factor going. Derek was a big part of that, so kind of piggybacking point guard position. I mean, Derek brought a lot. I mean, is it something where you maybe can't expect a guy to do that, but kind of carry? I remember you talking about like Derek's hard-nosed attitude, and that you finally realized that he was
Right.
like the best player.
Yeah, and our hope is you don't know who has that edge. You don't know who the outlier. Derek was a bit of an outlier, wasn't he? Because he was just being this really good guard and became a great guard. You think the outlier is the guy, all of a sudden somebody's gonna come off the bench and score 20 in a game. No, the outlier sometimes is the guy that has just been good, becomes great. And that's what Derek did. And so I have no idea, and I'm not gonna put too much pressure on. All I know is we have a lot of flexibility in that backcourt and in the front court.
Do you have an outlier back there?
I hope there's outliers, but I'm not gonna, they emerge by themselves. I don't predict them. They emerge by themselves. Otherwise, it wouldn't be outliers.
With the amount of time last year spent coaching up defense, coaching up attitude, it seemed like,
Yeah.
literally showing pictures of dogs and stuff. Where do Charles and Duran fit in keeping that attitude moving forward?
I hope Charles has the same attitude about defense that he had playing for us this year, because he was a pain in the neck to play against. And I would literally draw plays that he had never seen before that looked like our regular plays, and he would steal the ball. He just feels the game really well. So, and Duran, as opposed to why we decided to go with a fifth-year guy, is that there's things that, as a fifth-year player defensively, that still young guys are still a year or two away from. And he should not be. He's played for really good coaches. So no, Charles Austin has the ability to block shots. I think with the arc right now, to have him and John both have the ability to block shots, because Mo is not a shot blocker, is really huge as well. Because you can't take charges like you used to. You can still do it, but having that ability is really going to help our defense.
And with Duran, did you have to have a conversation with Xavier about that?
Yeah, I told Eli, I told Xavier, I told him ahead of the box when we started recruiting, we made a decision, and it said this is something that Mo Wagner and DJ Wilson had about the same freshman year you had, maybe even, not even as good. And look where they are now. You just gotta be patient, and you gotta work at your game.
Was there any concern with how he would take that?
I think there's concern with every guy, every player all the time. You got 13 guys, everybody's used to starting. But all I know is that we have 12 guys right now that are really hungry to, they loved what happened last year, and the young guys, I mean, this freshman class is good. I really think that they're probably gonna be able to play earlier because we don't have all 5 starters returning. Now we're missing 3 starters in our backup center. I mean, a lot of reason those freshmen didn't play last year is because they didn't need to play. And we didn't need them that much. And now we're gonna need them. So between the sophomores and the freshmen and the red shirts, there's a great opportunity, but there's gonna be competition now.
What are the things that Isaiah needs to do to be able to be in there and be?
He's very much like DJ, actually. He blocks shots, he can really shoot, and he's probably more as skilled as anybody that we've had coming in that size coming in. But he can rebound at a higher level. He's got to rebound at a higher level. You know, it seems like sometimes it seems like we recruit guys that can't rebound, and then they become rebounders. But it is something that he's got to rebound better. He knows it. And if one of those things is be in position to be in position. Just get in there and the ball fall into your hands. That would be the biggest thing, to be strong. Every freshman that we've had that did not play either there was a lot of depth in his position, or he did not play tough enough or understand defense. That it comes down to that.
Is it helpful that he and Duncan are different players at that spot, or is that a disadvantage to you guys? Do you think they're not similar?
Yeah, I mean, there's some striking similarities there because they're both big-time jump shooters. I mean, and they probably, I would even say with Isaiah, he may prefer the jump shot over the drive, probably too much for his size. So that's something that he's going to work at, and he knows, he's realized this. But his skill level to pass and play and do some things is really extraordinary.
What were your kind of thoughts of having back to Jerron, of having, you know, a senior from another place who would kind of come in and try to walk into a leadership role, but
Yeah.
is still a newcomer, that kind of
Yeah.
dynamic of how that actually plays out?
It's brand new for us, and we thought very much about it. And if I had any doubt in our visits with him that he was not gonna be a good locker room guy, I wouldn't care if he was, you know, even a better player than he is. He's a good player. He's all MAC first team. So, but when I met and spent time with him, there was no doubt. And on his official visit here, he clicked with our players really well.
Was there ever a point to, like, maybe, because you had talked obviously to a lot of different guys, you know, as you were trying to figure out the grad transfer thing, and you offered him and he took it. I mean, was there ever thought of waiting till the draft thing was over with these guys?
No, we went all in with him, knowing we had that scholarship, and because what I found out is having somebody in the 5th year transferred, it's more of that. They have to be accepted at a certain school here, you know, in one of the graduate schools, and there's more to it.
So you had to do it earlier?
Yeah, so we had to commit to him 100%, and I made that decision rather than, and he wanted to make that decision, and, you know, when you're transferred, there's NCAA waivers involved, and once everything was passed through, we were really happy, but we'd be out there looking right now if it hadn't worked out when it did, but it did.
By that point, that meant you closed the door on any 2017
Right,
recruits who
that's
you were
right,
talking to?
that's right.
And that was a conscious
That's right.
decision?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We felt that was a huge need for us, is to just have a little bit more experience in the backcourt for next year. So that the young boys would have almost a mentor. He's gonna be a mentor here to Xavier and Eli and whoever else in that backcourt. But there will be competition. That position is open for anybody. I don't wanna say we're giving them that, but that position is open for anybody, as is every position out there.
John, how, comparison that people make with Mo, just in terms of your coaching careers, obviously with Kevin in Snowville and West Virginia, and I guess what do you remember about sort of the way the offense flowed and functioned when you were we're in a situation where your center is probably your best player, because you haven't really had that this much here.
I'm not gonna say he's our best player, I'm gonna say we got really, I think we have a lot of talent on this team. But Kevin Pisnagel averaged 73s a year for 4 years. Mo had 30 or 40 this year, so we're not gonna put him in that category yet. 73s a year. He scored 1,800 points. So, but having let's just say having a big man who can shoot the ball like that changes a lot of things. You can see the way Purdue's defense is it is very helpful to have a pop guy. Because it's really hard to guard their big guys, but it's hard for their big guys to go out on the perimeter. So there's certain teams that will work against. But you also gotta make those shots. Right? And so it's another option. You have 5 guys that can shoot. And our hope is that Davis and Teskey can shoot in games as well.
Summer, is there anyone who's, is Mo gonna play with the German team? Is anyone?
Mo's gonna play with the German team. He's gonna, yeah. He's gonna play with the
And how
German
long
team.
how long of a
It's
commitment is
about a 5-week commitment.
that? Anyone else have anything going?
There's possible trips, there's a lot of trips in the summer that guys can take. I'd always encourage guys that didn't play last year, Austin Davis, Charles Matthews, make one of those trips. But there's money involved in that we cannot provide for those. They have to raise it themselves unless it's provided. So when in doubt, be in the gym, and I would expect in July and early August, when everyone is here, we're gonna have just tremendous practices, but when the coaches aren't around, just tremendous open runs in the Davidson Player Development Center.
Anything else?
Good, have a good weekend, glad we could do this, and